It's been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely, 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 lonely time. What's up, buddies? What a Jim? And I'm joined by Bry's Music Showcase and Jason the Millennial. Great to see you back from holiday, Jason.
Yeah, it's been great. It's weird that I've been back for like over a week now. It's just
Yeah,
that was a long holiday and or vacation as we call it, and yeah, it's good to be back.
we're ranking all 8 Led Zeppelin studio albums, and we're also discussing our top 5 songs by Led Zeppelin as well. So we got quite a few things to get through in the live stream, and I've got Jason's and Bry's channel both linked in the description below. Probably everyone watches is subscribed to both of you guys, but just in case, their channels in the description below. So I'll let you go first, Bryer, and then Jason, then myself. Do you want to talk about one album at a time, or should we do 2 in one go?
Um, we can. I mean, I'm fine with either or.
Well,
Yeah, okay,
maybe do 2 in one go.
two in one go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
let's
So
see
yeah.
what's going on in the chat first. Got Mike, 3 legends in the hose, in the hose. So yeah, what's your least favorite? But before we talk about that, how long have you been listening to Led Zeppelin for, Bryer?
For me, I've been listening to Led Zeppelin pretty much the same time I started getting into music. Because of course, I've talked about it before, but of course, Queen started it off. And when I told my mom that I was listening to Queen, of course, she was starting to recommend me stuff. And Led Zeppelin were one of the first bands she brought up. And so from that on, I kind of just started from there. She didn't recommend an album; she just recommended songs, and usually that's enough for me to kind of investigate. Then over the years, I've gone to listen to a lot of the big albums. There's actually 2 albums I had not heard in full until we did this live stream, so it was kind of interesting to get a chance to finally get into them, which I'll talk more when I talk about when we get to the ranking.
All right. So yeah, we'll go with our one number 8 now. So you can go first with your least favorite Led Zeppelin album.
All right. So for me, my least favorite album, and this is one that I do not own yet, but I'm gonna go with Presence. So this was 1976, I believe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this is one of the albums I did not hear in full until till getting ready for this live stream, and I liked it. I didn't. It's not. I won't say it's a bad album, but at this point they were doing all this innovation. They were experimenting a lot. Then when you get to Presence, they kind of decided to kind of strip it back. They decided to go more in their traditional hard rock sound, which of course I've heard many Led Zeppelin fans say that that's what they love about Presence is that it does go back to that classic sound. Um, but for me, it just feels like a safe album. It's kind of the Led Zeppelin by the numbers. But there's still some standout songs like Achilles' Last Stand is by far the best song on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then everything else, all the other songs were very solid. But yeah, just it's solid. But there's my favorite albums have a lot more to them that I always gravitate towards more. So for that's gonna be my last place, and we are going 2 at a time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So for my number 7, and this might be a hot take, but
There's gonna be some hot takes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have Led Zeppelin 3 as number 7, and
Okay.
it's another one I don't own. So it's
Okay.
yeah. So really, it's because of these. I mean, the main reason these 2 are in last place is because I don't own them. I haven't had much time with them, so I don't have
Right.
that history with them. But Led Zeppelin 3 is very good as well. Again, has some great stuff in it, like Immigrant Song, of course, is fantastic. Probably the song I remember the most. Um, and I do like the more acoustic side of things. Like side 2 is definitely more acoustic heavy. And I do like a lot of that stuff, like Gallows Pole, Tangerine. That's the Way. It's fantastic. Um, but again, it's just going back to if I hear this more, maybe it'll grow on me more. But as of right now, it's number 7 for me.
All right. So what's your number 8, Jason?
All right. Well, I'm gonna copy Bryer here and go with Presidents at number 8, and it really just comes down to it just lacks a lot of hits on it or a lot of songs I really come back to compared to other ones. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like a terrible album necessarily. It's just a mediocre, maybe. I don't know. He said Achilles' Last Dance is a pretty decent song. I like Nobody's Fault But Mine. I think it's my favorite song on here. But yeah, when I go through it, it's only like 7 songs, maybe. It's not very many, but it's just not very memorable, I guess. That's why I had to put it number 8. It's just, when I was looking at the list, I was like, I just don't remember most of these songs. And I haven't listened, and most of these albums I've only listened to once. I'm not, there's only 2 albums I'm really real familiar with because I own them. My top 2, I own my top 2 albums, but the other 6, I'm just not that as familiar with. I need to listen to more. So I feel like I'm not, I don't know, I feel a little, what's the word? Under, prepared or something for this, unfortunately, because but I love what I'm hearing from Led Zeppelin. I mean, I think they have a lot of good albums and so many good songs. I mean, crazy, great, good songs across the albums. But yeah, that's why I got Presence at number 8 on the list. Number 7 is going to be a surprise, maybe a lot of people, because I've seen a lot of people have this in their top 2.
Yeah,
this is like in people's top 2. Like lately, I've been seeing people's albums list, and this is like, anyways, and it is their very first album, Led Zeppelin 1. I don't know if that's what you're thinking, Bryer.
yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Okay, because I even said this on the Led Zeppelin 2 album thing that we did the other day, because I wasn't there for the Led Zeppelin 1 review, so I didn't give my takes on it. So I gave my takes on the second one, which Bryer wasn't there, so he didn't hear it, except for maybe when we watched the video.
Yeah.
And I was just very surprised at how boring the album was to me. It felt different than all the other albums. Like, it felt very slow moving, and it's more bluesy style, I feel like, which I'm not a big bluesy style. I like more. It's funny, like when I think about when I listen to other people talk about Led Zeppelin, it's like the real hardcore fans are like Led Zeppelin, it's like their favorite artist, like Garrett. Garrett loves this album. It's like pretty high on his list. I know. And I was like, I don't know why I listen to it. I just don't get it. And I don't know. It's just like, there's something between me and real like hardcore fans that like, I just don't get. Like, they're like, yeah, I love the slow moving bluesy style. And I'm like, no, I love the fast paced hard rock, great guitar riffs, or the really good poppy ones. Like, I do love the good, more acoustic style Led Zeppelin as well. But anyways, yeah, I mean, Good Times, Bad Times, good song, and Communication Breakdowns, my favorite song on here. So that's why I put it above Presence, because I was like, well, this album does have 2 songs that I can go back to. My biggest surprise is Dazed and Confused. I thought I was going to like that song. So I was like, I know this song. I've heard this before, I thought. And then I was listening to it, and I was like, this song's really boring. And I was like surprised at how much I was like, wow. I was like, this album was like the most disappointing album for me out of the catalog, personally. So yeah, it's number 7.
Well, before I get my number 8 and number 7, let's see what's going on in the chat. So we've got Salab Studios, Heather Garrett. It days on what you thought was told what it means to be a man yet. We've got Daniel. So he loves all Led Zeppelin albums. Salab saying all their albums are amazing, with the exception of one completely Mayor album. That was one amazing song on it. We've got Did You See That, Mike? Out of the one song, A Whole Lot of Love.
Good.
Okay.
It's a good one.
What? Got my dad, Toon Army Steve. Yeah, I got him into Led
Oh,
Zeppelin.
you got him into it. Wow.
Oh, cool.
Did a private plane called Starship. Beating the queue at the airport. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did have a private jet, whatever plane that they flew around. Yeah.
Hats off to Royal Harbour. Hot Garbage. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that song either.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that one. Yeah,
The amount.
yeah.
Garrett's mentioned that lately. Just
Yeah.
every time we talk about Led Zeppelin, that comes up. That's the word.
Yeah, if there's 3 more to appreciate it.
Yeah, probably.
I've only heard all these albums once, except for Led Zeppelin 4. I've heard that one twice. We've got my mum saying, during live stream, there's a lot to get through. It definitely is. T for one is just a rehash of Since to Be Loving You, but much more boring. Yeah, I guess so.
T4. Okay.
Yeah.
T4. Yeah.
Pretty low on my list, just shows.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get to my number 8. And for me, my number 8 is In Through the Outdoor, the last studio album, released in 1979. And I wasn't. I'm always doing now whether this is my number 8 or number 7, but at the moment it's my number 8. I'll go through my notes for it. I've got a lot of notes on my phone for all these albums, but what I put for this album is I still think it's a pretty great album. It's just got those songs I choose to revisit. My favorite song on the album is probably "Fall in the Rain." I really love that one. My least favorite is probably Carol Alhambra.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not too crazy on that one. But it's an album I've not really got too much else to really say about it. It's only got 7 tracks. You've got Hot Dog, which is them sort of doing Elvis, really. Yeah, I don't mind that one. But yeah, I still think it's a pretty great album. Just nothing that I'm going to really want to revisit from it right this moment. But my number 7 is one that you both mentioned. That's Presence, from 1976. It's the same thing for the other album. I think it's pretty great, but nothing really stands out other than Achilles' Last Stand, which I think is one of the better Led Zeppelin songs I've heard. It's one of my favorite album openers from them as well. It's a bit unfortunate that the rest of the album isn't that sort of quality, because otherwise it could be one of the best Led Zeppelin albums. But yeah, my number 7 and my number 8 are ones that I'm probably not going to listen to for a while. I'm not sure if I'm going to listen to them again. There was some pretty great stuff on it, but as we go further into this list, we're going to be getting some real amazing albums.
Yeah.
We've got Royce in the House, the junior high school when Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 dropped. Lost My Mind series masterpieces. Be my favorite band for 50 years. Might sound crazy, but Zepp still sound fresh to me.
I bet this would have been amazing to listen to for the first time in 1969.
This is so different from anything at that time.
Yeah, blow your mind. I think. Like, what is this?
What's he saying? No, I can't remember. I'm not sure what he's saying. No about.
Yeah, Garrett likes Into the Outdoor.
Yeah, he likes Into the Outdoor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Garrett. Sorry to disappoint you there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right, so I guess we're into our top 6 now. So what's your number 6, Bryer?
Okay, going to my number 6. And yeah, for me, I'm going to go through Into the Outdoor. I pretty much have all the albums at this point going forward. But yeah, number 6 is Into the Outdoor. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well. I think there's some pretty underrated songs on here. Starts out really good with in the Evening. I like the opening track. Then you have Southbound. The next song, I can't pronounce the third word, but it's kind of that's my least favorite song. It's kind of the one that's kind of a bit, and it's not really one I'll go back to. But like Adam mentioned, I love Fool in the Rain. I love the drum beat in that song. Like, it's kind of commercial sounding, but it's very good. Hot Dog is it's Hot Dog. It's going back to 50s stuff, and it's a fun song. I don't hate it like a lot of hardcore fans do. But I actually am going to agree with Garrett's before, because I actually really do enjoy Carousel Alhambra. It's just this 10-minute bit, the keyboards in it is I like the keyboard sound in it. And again, Bonham is just going to town on the drums, which I really enjoy. yeah, just probably their last like epic, shall we say. All My Love is really good. Again, a song dedicated to Robert Plant's son, who passed away very young.
Mhm.
And then I'm Gonna Crawl is a good closing song and a pretty solid song to close out their career with. And so, yeah, I think it's a very solid album, and I really do enjoy this one. Okay, number 5, I'm gonna go with Led Zeppelin 2. This is gonna be my redemption for not appearing on that review, but this is but yeah, I another really great album. Uh, Hold on, I have to look at the disc for the track listing. But here we go. So here comes another hot take. I'm actually not the hugest fan of Whole Lot of Love. That's never been really one of my all-time favorite Zeppelin songs. Again, it's like has an iconic riff. Again, the vocals is really good. I'm just kind of mixed on the middle section,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
you two. I mean, in the review you guys did, like you kind of mentioned that, but yeah, I'm kind of the same. I'm not the
Yeah.
hugest fan of that middle section. I think it goes on a bit too long, but the beginning and end are really good. Um, what is and what should never be is really good. Nice follow up. I really enjoyed the Lemon song. I think that's a great song. I really enjoyed that's a good rock song by them. Thank You is a very probably the biggest surprise. Like I forgot how good that song was. I love the organ in it. I love it. Heartbreaker is, of course, is a classic. Living Loving Maid. Um, that's a really great song. That's a really catchy song. Even though Jimmy Page doesn't like it, I really like it.
Yeah.
And my favorite song on the album is Ramble On. It's always been one of my favorites on the album, so wanted to say that. And in interview, I know Jason, you weren't a fan of the last 2 tracks. I'm kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Moby Dick's kind of cool, but to me, a drum solo is much more cooler when you actually see it. Like if it's just audio, it's kind of like not as impactful. And then Bring It On Home is a solid. It's kind of a slow burn song, but it's okay. It's an okay song to close out with. But yeah, that's gonna be number 5, Led Zeppelin 2.
Right. So it's your turn, Jason.
Okay. So I'm number 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 6 is going to be surprising because this album is like everybody's number 1 album. And I don't know, I wasn't as crazy about it. It's okay. I need to give it another listen, obviously. And that is Physical Graffiti.
Yeah, with that album, yeah, you definitely got to listen to it multiple times because it's a lot. It's a double album. So
there's just a lot.
A lot to digest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I feel like I haven't given this its due probably because I listened to it like one time and was like, yeah, it was okay. Again, it lacked a lot of memorable songs, and compared to like my top 2 albums, there's like 5 just killer songs on both albums, and so some of these ones are lower on me. And this is I'm like the amateur Led Zeppelin fan. I love Led Zeppelin. Like I really love their songs. It's like that. I'm just not as familiar with their albums, and so I'm still not familiar with their deep cuts. The hardcore fans would be like, Physical Graffiti, it's got all these great deep cuts. I'm like, oh, maybe it does. I just don't remember them. It's on my mind. It's a double album, so it's a pretty long album. Like I said, I know I've seen two videos where this was number 1. And so I feel so bad putting it at number 6 so low. It just didn't make enough of a
impression.
Thank you. I can't think. I worked last night. Impression on me right now. And I know the Led Zeppelin fans will say, oh, there's more songs, so that's why it's the best album, which I don't quite adhere to that theory that just because there's more songs makes it a better album.
Yeah, not always. Yeah, no.
Because I think it makes it a more difficult album when you have more songs because it's hard to make that many good songs. And so when you expand it to more, which is like, I think there's like 15 or something like that, which is not like the White Album, which has like 30 songs, which is a real crazy double album. But I love the White Album because it has so many great songs in it. But it's hard to pull off a double album for me to be that consistent throughout the whole album. In fact, a lot of times I like the albums are only like 7, 8 songs and they're all killers. those are like my favorite albums. 'Cause I'm like, yeah, just you don't have to give me too many. Just give me all your good ones and leave on a good note, and I'm good, But obviously, I think Kashmir. I just absolutely love that riff, dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun, whatever. I first heard it actually, Godzilla, the movie in the '90s. Puff
Okay.
Daddy did a version of Kashmir where he rapped over the.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, he rapped over the riff, and I saw him play it live on Saturday Night Live with Jimmy Page there. That was really cool, actually, to see Jimmy Page doing the dun 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 whatever, and Puff Daddy. Even though I don't care about Puff Daddy doing the rapping, but whatever. It was like, still, I was like, that's the first time I ever heard the song. I thought it was a Puff Daddy song, and then someone's like, "Oh, that's a Led Zeppelin song." I'm like, "Oh, that's a Led Zeppelin song." I thought they wrote it for Godzilla, and I'm like, that's how much I didn't know about Led Zeppelin at the time. And I just like that riff. Just I don't know, just really caught on. Every time I hear it, it's just like, just great ear candy, I guess. Also, really like 10 Years Gone By is actually a song I really like on the album, which I think I said is maybe my favorite song on the album. It's hard to tell right now, but those are the only two songs I wrote down. I know there's some other decent ones I can't remember, but anyway, that's why I got number 6, Physical Graffiti. Number 5 was lower on Bryer's list, and that is Led Zeppelin 3, though I think it's a really good album. And again, like I said, when I like I said, my top 2 I absolutely love so much. They're like some of the best albums I've ever heard. If you saw our 50 essential albums of the 1960s and 70s, actually, because I put my top 2 albums I put on there because I love them so much. I'm so happy I got to put those on there, and it's just because I was not familiar with the other 6, and so it's fun going back through and just hearing these and going, wow, why did I not give this album its credit? And this is definitely one of them, Led Zeppelin 3, where I was like, wow, I should have given this album more credit. I don't know why this is one that just didn't resonate with me too much until just now when I listened to it again, because I think I've listened to it before, but I just don't remember it. And I definitely remember the Immigrant song starting it, because that's just an iconic. I feel like that's maybe the most played Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because at that I like that beginning is just everybody knows it. As soon as you hear it, everybody's like, oh, Immigrant song. In fact, for the longest time, I didn't know it was called the Immigrant song. I was like, what is that song? The I just knew it as the I song is all language. And it was a long time before I was like, oh, it's called, because I didn't understand. I don't know if they ever say immigrant song in the whole thing, but I guess it's the idea behind it. And it's such a Nordic Viking vibe to it, which is awesome. And because I was thinking, like, I've heard this song played in I think School of Rock, and I definitely heard it in Thor Ragnarok,
yeah.
Which is such a great moment when he comes down with the hammer and they start playing that song and he starts beating up guys. It's like, oh, that's so good. But yeah, that's why I say, like, I feel like I hear that song all the time, but it's great. that beginning part. Then I absolutely love That's the Way. That's out of all the songs I've heard, that's a song I wasn't familiar with at all. Like, I don't remember hearing it on the radio growing up. I don't know if that was ever anything, but man, that is an amazing song. Like, I love that song. And this is me going, like, Led Zeppelin's known for being like this hard rock, like one of the greatest hard rock bands of all time. And maybe like the beginning of, like, I don't know, heavy metal or whatever, or helped influence all that stuff, from what I've read. And then I'm like, I love the acoustic songs, which I'm surprised when I was listening to them. I'm like, I really love when they go acoustic. And this is one of my favorite acoustic songs that they do. Just a really beautiful song, great melody. Robert Plant is so good. I mean, he's one of my favorite vocal. Like, I think I would put like Freddie Mercury number 1. I think I put Robert Plant maybe number 2 is my like favorite rock, frontman, in my opinion, right now. That could change, but right now that's what I'm thinking after going through this. But yeah, those are my two favorite on there. But yeah, it's still overall a really good album, Led Zeppelin 3.
Oh,
Nice.
it's crazy to hear real time.
Oh man, I bet.
Yeah. course, Southbound.
Suarez.
Suarez.
Okay, that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Thank
Leonardo
you.
or Leonard, double the pre-1973 albums. Yep, they're all really amazing stuff. There's another album that takes of listens to enjoy. Yeah, they're all great choices, Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Rover. That's one I like as well. Now that you put that on there.
I want to notice that Led Zeppelin have done quite a lot of food songs. They've done hot dog, wonton song, lemon song.
Lemon song.
Should be a single album. Yeah, I think Physical Graffiti was originally a single album.
I wonder.
It was either add more stuff on it or take songs off of it to make it a single album.
Yeah, because
they added more to make it a double album.
Yeah, I guess it's double. Like some of the other albums only have 7 songs, so I guess it is double some of their songs. But like I said, double albums are usually pretty big.
Well, I'll get to my number 6. And that is one that neither of you mentioned yet. And I think Garrett's going to really not like me for this one. It's Houses of the Holy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Garrett. But I think it is a really great album, though. It's close to being an amazing one. And I think it starts off really amazingly with the song remains the same. The rain song and Over the Hills and Far Away. Definitely the best songs on here. But then you go with, in my opinion, the weakest Led Zeppelin song with the crunge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy on that song.
Yeah.
And then there's the second side. I think it's pretty great, but nothing that really makes me other than the song "The Ocean." I really love that one.
So good.
But my favorite song from the album is the Rain song.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite funny that Into the Outdoors got just a song being "Fall in the Rain" as a favorite, and they've got the Rain song here.
Yeah.
I like the Rain Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too.
But yeah, that's my number 6. And my number 5 is a double album, Physical Graffiti.
Okay.
I think it would have been even higher if it was just a single album, not a double. But I think the first side of the album is amazing, but the second side, I think the really amazing stuff. You got the song "House of the Holy," which is weird. It's not on the House of the Holy album.
I know.
I really don't get that. You've also got "Trample Underfoot" and "Kashmir," which is my favorite song from the album.
Yeah,
that was the only one I knew before going into this.
Yeah,
and then the second, the third side I love with the songs "In the Light" and "Down by the Seaside." I think is one of the most underrated songs, and also 10 Years Gone, as well as is fantastic. I almost think it should have ended the whole album. The song 10 Years Gone. And the final side, probably my least favourite side, but my favourite song from that side is probably the Wonton song. But it's got my least favourite song from the album on the last side being Black Country Woman. But I still think it's pretty great though. Yeah, that's my number 5. Led Zeppelin's double album, Physical Graffiti. Let's see what Garrett's got to say. Why do I hate the confounded bridge?
Where's the confounded bridge? It's so weird at the end. Where's the confounded?
There's the Rain song. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people really love the Rain song. Yeah, that's pretty high up.
Yeah. Right, so I guess we're in our top half of the album. Their albums now.
All right.
Number 4.
Number 4. Well, I'm going to continue on, but number 4, I'm going to go with Houses of the Holy. This is probably the closest Led Zeppelin pretty much ever gotten to getting to progressive rock. Definitely has some progressive rock elements to it. Not to say they are a progressive rock band, but there's elements on here which you can definitely hear on here, especially on certain songs. But yeah, it starts really great with The Song Remains the Same. That's a terrific opening track. And of course, it's because it also got popular because it's named. It went on to name one of their movies, which is playing behind me. The song remains the same.
Yeah.
Actually, oh, they're doing. Oh, I guess it's during the fantasy sequence now. But anyway, but yeah, great song. Open it up again. Yep, like Adams mentioned, the Rain song's really good. Always loved that's one. Over the Hills and Far Away, another great standout one. I love the dynamics in that song where again it starts very acoustic, but then it just goes back into the heavy drum, heavy rock sound. The Crunch, it's a James Brown tribute, so it has that 50s style, which I don't mind it. It's not my favorite song on the album, but I don't hate it. Dance Stage is pretty good. Then you have the reggae song Jamaica, which is again another one of those songs where people seem to not enjoy. It's not one of my favorites, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting them doing reggae for a bit. No Quarter, another great standout track. Love that. Love the riff on it. The guitar tone that Jimmy does on that song is spectacular. And yeah, it closes out really good with The Ocean, which and that's kind of where the progressive rock sound really is starting to really comes through. But yeah, number 4 for me, but still very good. Number 3, I'm gonna go with the debut. Yeah, I love this album. Again, even though I'm kind of like Jason, I'm not the hugest blues fan, but it just works for me on here. Um, that being said, I'm not the hugest fan of You Shook Me and I Can't Quit You Baby because I think that's a bit too blues. But the other songs definitely take that electrified blues, and you can really hear, like, one of the people in the chat already brought it up, but of course what they bought it when it came out and just blew their minds because it just was so different from everything prior. And we briefly mentioned it that yeah, you can definitely hear the beginnings of heavy metal on this album, like the heavy drum sound, the heavy guitar riffs. Like you can I can definitely hear the influence on here, but starts great with Good Times Bad Times, great song to start off a career with. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. Love that song and love the dynamic with it, where it's all slow at first, but then the drums just hit you and it's just like just wakes you up. Like whoa, where'd that come from? I already said You Shook Me. It was okay, but Dazed and Confused, like another song I've always loved. I love the bass riff to it. It's like it's simple as heck. It's a very simple bass line, but it's still very effective. Just sets the tone. And I love when it speeds up and in the middle section, and of course all the effects Paige is doing on guitar, playing with the violin bow. It's very cool. Your Time's Gonna Come, another slower song. Love that one. Communication Breakdown's great, and closes out with one of my favorite of their closers, How Many More Times. Again, it starts with that great bass line by John Paul Jones. The riff is incredible. And yeah, it's a great album, and that's going to be number 3.
Cool.
Yeah, I figured you'd have that high. That's why I feel like I'm a bad Led Zeppelin fan.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, it just shows just how great this catalog is because there's something for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Our lists are just so different. I feel like, I mean, I say so different. It's just, which is, I like that we have different lists, which is, I don't know. It's just something interesting about it. Every list I've seen is never the same on Led Zeppelin. It's just kind of interesting.
Exactly.
Because I feel like I go more for the more commercial hits or the more radio friendly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just who I am, I guess. Like I like catchy music, and that's just me.
Yeah.
Like I like a song that I just can't get out of my head, and that's where I go towards those kind of albums, I think, while others love the just more raw, hard guitar or whatever, the jams, you're like, wow, I'm like, no, I want a good chorus, catchy tune, all this stuff. I don't know. That's just me ranting, but sorry. All right, number 4. This is another surprise, maybe, because I feel like everybody has this last. In fact, the last couple, I've seen like 2 videos where this was the last. This was number 8 on their list.
Yeah, I think I know what's coming.
And
yeah, so do I.
Get it. I really like this album, and that is In Through the Outdoor. The very last album they did, I think in 1978. Yeah, I was like, I prepared not to like this album because I feel like I hear people like not really liking this, except for Garrett. Garrett has been the guy that's really championed this album.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
And
he was the reason why I bought Into the Outdoor to begin with.
really,
Yeah.
yeah. And I like, yeah. When I got to it, I was like, I don't get why people don't like this album as much, or maybe they don't. Not that they don't like it, but they don't like it as much as the other ones. And it really comes down to, it has two of my favorite songs on it. Like there's two songs on here that I just, and it's more of the poppy songs, like I said, that I absolutely love, the pop hits, and that is Fool in the Rain. Absolutely love that song. I put all my songs on a playlist, or my favorite songs on a playlist, and that's a song that I just keep listening to, because it just gets in my head and I can't get it out. Probably the best like upbeat pop song they have. But anyways, and then All My Love, I love that song. I love, like I said, I love Plant's voice on that song. It's so good, and the guitar, and as you said, like the drumming. Sometimes the drumming is so good on the softer songs. Like you think with the hard rock songs, he's really hitting it. But sometimes when I'm listening to some of these softer, I say called softer type songs, I really key in on the drumming on a lot of them, because he's really going all over the place and really it really elevates, I think. And the guitar isn't as prevalent on these maybe as some of the other ones, but yet still really good. Anyways, but yeah, I mean those two songs just really make this album because I love them so much. I really do like Carol Sombre, whatever. Yeah, I'm with you. I can actually, that was one of my favorite songs. There's only like 7 songs on here, so. And then Hot Dog, I actually really liked Hot Dog, and I heard some people say that they didn't like that song, maybe, or divisive song, I think. Yeah. I know Garrett's talked about it quite a bit, so I'm glad I finally got to it, and I was like, I don't know, I like the 50s throwback. It's a 50s rock song throwback, and I kind of liked it. I wasn't expecting to like it. I thought, oh, the Hot Dog, it's such a weird name for a song. And I came through going, yeah, I kind of enjoyed that song. But overall, because there's only 7 songs, and I feel like most of them are really good, it really elevates this compared to like Physical Graffiti, where there's just so many songs I just didn't really, didn't catch my ear like this one. So it might be a surprise, but yeah, I really liked it. Into the Outdoor.
I feel really bad. It's my least favorite.
Oh yeah, you had it. Yeah, you had the last 2. Yeah, I see a lot of people do that. I don't know why. I just, again, I feel like I'm an amateur Led Zeppelin fan. I just really like this album, but. Yeah, and then number 3, this is one that Garrett talks about all the time. I think it might be his favorite, and it's one that I just really fall in love with, and that is Houses of the Holy, that I've just recently kind of been listening to this last week. And yeah, I agree. It's just a great song. From my research, it sounded like they were going. You said more progressive rock. Like the research I did said like they were using more synthesizers and mellotrons and so it sounds like they're, bringing a lot more in. Like compared to like Led Zeppelin 1, to me, it was just a raw, here, almost like a live show or something, While this just, it felt like they just threw a lot more stuff in. And I love I don't know, Jimmy Page, the guitar player, like I'll listen to songs and it's like, I'll try to listen to all the different instruments. And I don't do the research enough to know like what all instruments are like maybe Bryer does, I'm sure, but like I'm listening and I listen to a song and I think, okay, I hear an acoustic guitar, and then I'll go, okay, I think I hear an electric guitar playing something in the background. And I'm like, I think I hear a mandolin, I think, or something like that. I'm guessing, I'm making guesses, but I'm like, is Jimmy Page just playing different guitars over each other and mixing it in? Because he's the only guitar player I know.
Yeah, that's probably him.
I don't know if they bring in other people to play guitar or if it's just him, but if it's just him playing the different, I'm like, man, this is amazing work. Like what how they layer all the guitar stuff in, a lot of stuff. Yeah, so many great songs on here. Over the Hills and Far Away. Absolutely love that song. I love what Led Zeppelin does the best, I think, almost out of anybody that I've heard, is they can start a song with acoustic guitar and then hit you with the electric guitar and drum comes in, and I was like, oh, this is a nice ballad or nice something, and it's like, no, it's a rock song. like oh, it was disguised as a ballad, it's a rock song or something. And they did that in a lot of songs, but I love Over the Hills and Far Away. I want to say this has like one of the best acoustic guitar beginnings, if I remember right. It has a great acoustic guitar. lick, whatever I call it. Like, absolutely love it. I don't know how to pronounce this, and you pronounced it, so I'm trying to remember. Jamaica?
Jamaica. Yeah.
I have no idea how. It's a weird.
It's supposed to be a play on words of Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I keep saying "do your maker" because I have no idea. I'm like,
like
there's some. It's missing some vowels or something. Like,
yeah.
Jamaica. I love this song. This is like one of my favorites. And I think you said some people don't like it, I guess. And I was like, oh, man, I absolutely love this reggae style. And the like Plant is the best at just going or oh. So many songs he just oh. I don't know. He's like so amazing when he's just not even saying words. But yeah, G Maker is such a catchy song. I absolutely love it. And then The Ocean is one of the great rock songs. I mean, I absolutely love The Ocean. It was an amazing rock song to end it all. And I don't have all the songs on. I don't have the album yet. I need to get it. So I don't have all the songs on here, but I know there's some other good songs on here. But those are the ones that just really stand out.
Cool.
Wow. Very cool stuff. Robert Plant's Concert Warrior. Remains a Battle of the Warships. Some reason say
Rain Song. Rain Song is in House is Holy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's like a beautiful song because he really uses orchestra. Maybe for the first time. I don't know. It's the first time I remember really using the orchestra in such a really cool way. But yeah, really beautiful song. Rain Song.
Hello. Music Talk with John. Represent Jason through the outdoors. Amazing.
Yeah.
Through the outdoors, the album I probably listened to the most. Interesting. It was John Paul Jones who played all his instruments.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He was.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
Peach played all the other. He calls it
Guitar
Me. Yeah. Guitar Me.
I think it said John Paul Jones plays piano maybe on some stuff.
Yeah, he plays the keyboards.
If I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my turn to go my turn to number 4. And that is Led Zeppelin 2 from 1969. Did you start the album with A Whole Lot of Love? Yeah, fantastic album opener. And what I Never Should Be, fantastic as well. I mean, the whole first side I think is fantastic, and I think the second side is as well. You got Heartbreaker, you got Living Never Made, Ramble On, but I think it's the last 2 tracks that let the album down a bit for me. And that's Moby Dick and Bring It On Home. They're my least favorite songs on the album, especially Moby Dick.
Yeah.
I'm not big on instrumentals as it is. It was just a really long drum solo, really. But my favorite track is Whole Lot of Love. Yeah, it's a fantastic song, but I'm not too crazy on the bridge part of the song though. But I just let that bit get over my head, really. I don't really concentrate too much on that part. But yeah, I think it's an amazing album, but I just like those other 3 a bit more. And my number 3 is Led Zeppelin 3 from 1970. I think this is the most underrated album. The Immigrant Song, which is my favorite song on the album, but you've also got Friends and Celebration Day. They're also some of my favorites. Tangerine, I love that track, and That's the Way. I'm not too crazy the song Hats Off to Roy Harper. That song ruins the album for me, but yeah, I still absolutely love Led Zeppelin 3. I think it's one that I don't think enough people talk about, really.
Yeah.
But yeah. Then my number 4, number 3. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Well, that's an orchestra.
Oh, it's Mellotron.
Zombies type keyboard.
Okay.
There's orchestra dancing days as well.
I'm not even sure what a Mellotron is. I keep seeing that name. I'm like,
it's kind of like a type of keyboard.
Okay.
They used it on Strawberry Fields Forever as well. The Beatles used it in quite a few of their songs. But I guess we're in our top 2 now. So what's your second favorite Led Zeppelin album, Bryer?
Yeah, for me, these 2 were no-brainers. I knew right away these 2 were going to be in the top spots. But which one's going to come up first? So, number 2, I'm going to go with the Man with Sticks album, Led Zeppelin 4.
The Man with Sticks.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, what has not been said about this album? It's one of the classic albums up in their catalog. I mean, it's their best selling album by far.
Yeah.
Um, yes. I mean, so many classic songs on here. Of course, you have Black Dog, which is great opening song, great riff to it. Rock and Roll, which of course is a classic rock staple on, especially that's the one Led Zeppelin song I hear the most on the radio is Rock and Roll, and for good reasons. It's a great, very upbeat, very fast tempo song. Battle of Evermore, more mandolin heavy, kind of going back to that kind of medieval sound to it, which I do enjoy. I mean, there's a little song called Stairway to Heaven. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but yeah, that's a terrific song. Like,
I think I remember it.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it has like I think they got sued for that song, I think. But but besides that, yeah, even though that song to some people it's overplayed, I still love it. I still am not tired of it. It's just a terrific song. And even though I've heard Robert Plant's not a fan of the song, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's actually the one song he loads playing live.
Probably because they request it all the time or whatever.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, and not even Robert Plant knows what he's singing about, surprisingly, even though he wrote the lyrics, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Stairway to Heaven, it's a terrific song. It deserves the reputation it gets. Misty Mountain Hop is pretty good. My least favorite song is probably Four Sticks. It's probably the only song
I think it's everybody's least favorite.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a good song, but it's definitely not as memorable as the other songs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But of course, you got Going to California, which of course, my home place. So of course, I love that song. It's probably their best acoustic song in my opinion. Yeah. And then you have probably their greatest one of their great closing songs with The Levee Breaks, which of course the drumming in that song is just a huge standout.
It's fantastic.
It's so huge sounding, and the harmonica on it's very good. And that's probably their best like mixing blues and electrifying it. That's like their best ever song with that style. But yeah, Led Zeppelin 4 is number 2. And yeah, number 1, I'm gonna be that person. Physical Graffiti.
There it is.
Yeah. It's a double album, but yeah, there's just so many great songs to me. Like I've always loved this album for years. It's always been my number 1 favorite. That's kind of the same. You know, it was a double album, so it was a lot to digest at first. But over the years, I've just grown to love it more and more. I mean, Custard Pie, I've loved that song. The Rover is another fab song. In my time of dying, which is 11 minutes, which some people say it's a bit too long. I actually don't mind it, honestly. I actually kind of like the atmosphere in that one. Of course, you have Houses of the Holy, which brings up the good thing, about this album is that a lot of these songs were taken from previous sessions, from like going back to the debut. Which is kind of surprising because it doesn't sound like it's from different sessions. It still sounds very cohesive. And that's very good. I mean, that's good production on Jimmy Page's part because he produced pretty much the majority of the albums. Trampled Underfoot, great keyboard riff by John Paul Jones in that one. Of course, Kashmir. Of course, you had to mention that one. Epic song. Just the sound of it is just so cool. In the Lights, great. Kind of like what Adam said, I think Down by the Seaside is a very underrated song. I hear most people say that's their least favorite song on the album. I don't really see why. I think it's a great song. 10 Years Gone, like we've all mentioned, is really good. Definitely gotta mention that. The Wonton song's good. But yeah, it's a lot of songs, but there's just so many high points on this album for me that it had to be my number 1. So that's it.
Cool. You're a good Led Zeppelin.
And funny enough, Led Zeppelin I wouldn't put Led Zeppelin in my top 10 favorite bands, honestly, but I've always had a great respect for them.
Yeah.
You just have the shirt.
I think I know your top 2, Jason. I think I've always known about your top 2, but what's your second favorite?
Yeah, you probably know what mine are. First off, how's California doing with the hurricane?
Oh, right. Right now it's okay. It's not. Luckily, I'm more inland, so I'm not going to take as much of the blunt from the hurricane. It just like about 2 hours ago it hit Baja California, so it's not quite where I'm at right now, but we're expecting it sometime later this afternoon. But we'll see how it goes. It's just been showering a lot lately.
I was gonna say it probably rains a lot, maybe.
Yes, it's just raining, but it's not too bad right now. But again, we'll see what happens.
Okay. Good. Hope you're okay.
Yeah.
It's funny when you're going through these albums and you're like, my number 2 favorite is number 4, and my number 5 favorite is number 3. It's like, because all the first 4 albums are all numbered, so
Yeah.
it makes it a little confusing. Like,
I know. I kind of messed up when I was talking about 4 a second ago.
So it's nice when you got like Adam has like number 3. It's like, oh, that works.
Yeah.
I can remember that. My number 2 is Led Zeppelin 2.
Yeah.
Which we talked about not too long ago on SoundLab Studios. It's again, of course, I own the album. I've listened to quite a bit and talked about it. It's definitely one of my favorite albums. One of the best rock albums of all time. It was pretty easy putting this here at number 2 for me. It's got so many great songs, so many memorable songs, and that's why, for me, I guess, because I don't remember the other albums as well. I guess the albums that have the songs that I remember are going to be higher up. I guess it probably takes some time to have to listen to the other albums to kind of catch on to the deeper cuts. Maybe I don't know. It's kind of the same way for me with Queen. It took me a while to really get into a lot of Queen albums. Because like Night of the Opera, obviously you have Bohemian Rhapsody and all that, but then I listen to the other ones and I'm like, oh man, there's so many great songs like I never knew about on Queen, and I feel the same way. I mean, I probably feel the same way about Led Zeppelin if I listen to it more. But man, I love the opener. I keep saying this. I feel like I've talked about this a lot, but A Whole Lot of Love is my favorite opener, like maybe of all time, or it's up there as one of the great openers. As soon as you put the needle down and you hear that bum 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 bum, oh my gosh, it's just like, man, it does something to me. Like I'm just like rocking to it. Like every time I listen to it, I'm like, yeah, like Led Zeppelin. I'm like doing this, like, yeah, like it's just a great rock song. That's one of the greatest rock riffs of all time. I mean, I just absolutely love it. It just gets my blood going. And yeah, it's funny, the middle part. Yeah, it's such a weird middle part, and you get those Robert Plant's like, and you're like, I don't know what's going on in this thing. And when I was doing my research, like it was interesting about Led Zeppelin is like the band did not want to put out any singles. Like, yeah, they're like totally against, like, which is weird. So they don't have like any big singles really, except for their manager, name was Peter Grant. He did put out their singles out in America, which they didn't like, and some of them did. Like Whole Lot of Love was one of them that he put out in America, and I think he put an edited version out, which makes me wonder if the edited version edits out that middle part, or
I believe so. It shortens the middle part,
which I actually kind of like that idea. If you shorten that middle part, it'd be even better, maybe. Because I feel like I've heard the song on the radio before, and I don't remember that long middle part. So maybe when I hear it on the radio, I usually hear the edited version. Maybe
not where I'm at. They play the full song.
They play full song. Okay, I might be wrong. I'm just guessing because I've heard the song growing up, on the oldie station. But it is weird when you listen to it and you get that middle part, and you're like, man, this thing's going on a little bit. But yeah, I still love. I said this before, but I love how they get back into it with that guitar solo, and then the drums and they get back into that riff, and you're like, oh yes, now we're back on track. Like, this is awesome. It's still I love that song. Yes. Trying to think of I didn't write down all the songs. I don't know if this has I doubt this has the listing on it. I want to say the second song is really good.
What is The Watch Never Be?
There we go.
Yes. That's a great song. What Never Be? Another great slower song that turns into a rock song that I just absolutely love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's 3 songs in a row, like right towards the end, that are just absolutely like good, amazing. When you get, I don't know if it starts with Heartbreaker.
Yeah. Heartbreaker.
And I love Heartbreaker. That's such a
Yeah.
great rock song. Love that. Love the transition into Living Loving Maid. She's just a woman. Oh, it's so good. Those two songs together. I mean, just amazing. And then you end it with Rabelon, which is one of my favorite on the album. Another one that starts acoustic, and then when it gets into that Rabelon, and then it gets the guitar and the drums, and you're like, oh my god, this is so good. Yeah, those are such three amazing songs right in a row. And then you get the two last, which I don't care for, like we've mentioned before. Like, I don't know if they could have rearranged it to end it with those three songs. I don't know. That would have made it better, but still, there's like 5 just absolutely amazing Led Zeppelin songs on here, and that's why it's number 2 on my list. Number 1. I'm glad to see Bryer had this number 2. So, but yeah, it's the guy with sticks.
The guy with sticks.
It's weird. Like some of the Led Zeppelin 2 has the band on it, but I know this doesn't have the band name or anything on it, and I think there's some other ones that don't have the band name on it.
House of the Holy doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think House of the Holy. I was thinking that was kind of interesting thing they did there. I think don't you put the band name or the name of the album on there? You just the image, I guess, says it all. Yeah, it's interesting because this is considered Led Zeppelin Entitled is another name for the album.
Untitled, yeah, that's one way.
Album, which is like I didn't have a good ring to it. I just call it Led Zeppelin 4. I guess that's the easiest way.
That's the easy one.
And they also said like the 4 because they put 4 symbols on it. I don't know why they didn't want to name the album or something, but they put like each person had a symbol that represented them or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's kind of interesting all that. Yeah, like Bryer said, it's from our research, it was the biggest selling album that they had.
According to this magazine, I mean, as of this was written, I think I got this last year, but it sold 23 million copies. Yeah,
it's like one of the best-selling albums of all time. I think is what my research said. Probably the 70s for sure, and it was theirs. And it's interesting because like I don't think they had a single really come off of here, maybe, or I don't know if they did, but I can't remember. But "Stairway to Heaven" wasn't a single, which is weird. How is that not a number 1 single? I don't get it. But they didn't put it out. I suppose it's too long to.
Yeah, they'd have to shorten it if they would.
Then again, Bohemian Rhapsody is long and it's great. Hey Jude's long and it's great. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, this is just one of the greatest albums of all time, in my opinion. I always say it's like maybe my second favorite rock album behind Who's Next. Probably my favorite rock album like of this period. Yeah, so many great songs. Like you met Black Dog, love Black Dog, love the guitar. We're gonna sing and then we're just gonna do the guitar and drums and then we're gonna sing and so unique. I've never heard anybody do that before. The way they isolate the voice and then go, and Plant's just so amazing. Like only he can. I always said like Plant probably couldn't sing for the Beatles, but he was perfect for Led Zeppelin. Like his style fit that group so well. And it was interesting if you do like your research, and it's really like Jimmy Page's like it was kind of his. He's one that really put the band together, and he wanted to put together with like Keith Moon and John Entwistle at one time, and Jeff Beck, I think, and make this super group. But that, of course, didn't like work out. But then he got Bonham and John Paul Jones, and then Robert Plant seemed like he was one of the last pieces to put together. I feel like they had some other ideas for a lead singer, but Plant was singing for some other groups, I think, if I remember right, but they got him on there, and it's like, man, how could anybody else sing but for Led Zeppelin and Robert Plant? Like, to me, he's just perfect for it. Going to California, I love that song. It's one of the best acoustic songs, I say, and I love the acoustic guitar on this song. I love the whole melody. Love, again, Plant's voice is so great on this song. Again, I really go towards those poppier acoustic guitar songs like this one, but yeah, it's up there. What can you say? Misty Mountain Pop is a great song. I love Misty Mountain Pop. That's an underrated song, maybe that people don't talk about enough. So good. And like I said, Levee Breaks, great closer. Like just that riff just stays in your head on that one. And then last, I have to talk about Stairway to Heaven. I guess I'll talk about that a little bit later. But just amazing song. Even though it wasn't a big single, it's probably their most played song ever. I mean, on the radio, it's a huge radio hit. It really it makes this a good album to a great, like the greatest album, one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, with Stairway to Heaven on, it's just an epic song. Uh, yeah, I love Led Zeppelin 4. It's one of my favorites.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying, 2 songs fit in one disc. I'd almost make it a double album this time. They couldn't find a way. It's not that would fit like Hysteria. I didn't know Hysteria was just one album, but I thought it was a double album.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Look, Chicago Bars would be a nightmare.
No. That'd be a nightmare.
Oh, Chicago 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, to 18 or something. I don't know. They're just all numbered.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. But my second Led Zeppelin album is the first Led Zeppelin album. Yeah. I'm probably an amateur fan like you, Jason, but I've still got it as my second favourite.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect debut album. And it starts off brilliantly with Good Times, Bad Times, and Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You is probably my favourite song on the album. They're the ones that really stand out for me the most, the first side. The other 2 songs are amazing, though. And then the second side starts off with Your Time Is Gonna Come, which I think is their most 60s sounding song.
Yeah.
That they ever did. But yeah, I absolutely love it. And my other favourites on the second side is Communication Breakdown and How Many More Times. But yeah, I think all these songs are amazing to 10 out of 10. And yeah, I think the whole album's 10 out of 10. I think it's a perfect debut album.
Yeah.
It is a very slow moving album at times. Maybe it could have been a little bit shorter, but yeah, still absolutely love it. And it means my favourite Led Zeppelin album is Led Zeppelin 4. The Man with Sticks. Yeah. The whole first side of the album is my favourite side of music that Led Zeppelin ever did. You've got Black Dog and then you've got Rock and Roll. Two of their best rockers, I guess. But we're definitely up there. You've got the Battle of the Evermore. And then you've got, of course, Stairway to Heaven.
Such a good closer to
and then in the second side, you've got Misty Mountain Top and Four Sticks, which are my least favorite songs on the album, but I'm still fine with their inclusions. But I do think they're both fantastic songs, though. You've also got going to California and then when the levee breaks to close the album. Yeah, I just think none of the Led Zeppelin albums could beat this one. And it's in the top 50 albums of all time. Yeah, it's Led Zeppelin album that I choose to revisit the most. I forgot to say that my least favorite song from the first Led Zeppelin album, I'd say, is "You Shook Me." My least favorite song on this album is Four Sticks, but yeah, I still absolutely love it though. Yeah, Led Zeppelin 4, my favorite album by Led Zeppelin.
Well, we all had that in the top 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all definitely love Led Zeppelin 4 then.
So we've all ranked the albums now, which is really, really great. I love that we all have different rankings for most of this. And now we'll get to our top 5 Led Zeppelin songs. So we'll all do a number 5 and then do number 4 all the way to number 1. Okay. So what's your 5th favorite Led Zeppelin song, Bryer?
It was actually a lot tougher than I thought.
Yeah, so tough.
Yeah. For right now, at least for right now, number 5 for me, I'm gonna go to the debut album. I'm gonna go with "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You." Okay. I kind of talked about it already before, but again, I love the dynamics of it, where it's all this like slow, kind of moody, very acoustic heavy. But then once the drums kick in, that's where it really starts to kick into high gear. And it just keeps going up and down, like you're constantly starting to go down here, then you're going back up, and then you're going back down, then you're staying up here for a little bit, then you drop back down. Like it's just so exciting. This is still like an exciting song to listen to. So yeah, it's number 5.
All right, number 5 for me, going off of Led Zeppelin 2, is Heartbreaker. One of my favorite songs on there. And it's just everything's just so great. Like I was just thinking that riff, that bum 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 bum, whatever. Just a great guitar riff, but the bass is amazing on here. Or I think there's something that's just sliding, like there's some kind of, I don't know if that's a bass there, but I think bass, the drumming is just absolutely amazing. And then I said before when I was talking about Led Zeppelin 2, but that guitar solo is like one of the greatest guitar solos I think of all time. Every time I listen to it, it's so unique. I just thought, I don't know how he makes those sounds out of that guitar when he's like doing that. Bum, 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 bam, bum, 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 bam. And he's like doing all these kind of weird like sound effects, and then he goes to that like, oh my god, like he's just going really fast on the on the fretboard there, and it's the only thing you hear. Like everything else is silent except for that guitar solo, which is so unique. Usually you might have the guitar solo with other things going around it, but they're like, no, we're just going to concentrate on that guitar solo. And that's the only thing you're going to hear. And that really makes it, one of my top ones.
My number 5 is from Led Zeppelin 4, that's Rock and Roll. Yeah. It's the one I was singing at the start of this live stream.
It's a good time to rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a fantastic rock and roll song, and the lyrics are very simple but very effective, and I love Robert Plant's vocals on it, and love the instrumentation. But I think the drumming might be my favorite instrument in the song. Yeah, I just love rock and roll. It's what the name suggests, is just a rock and roll song.
I know.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's one of the catchier Led Zeppelin songs. Yeah, it's my number 5.
It's very cool. Number 4, sticking with the debut still, I'm going to go with How Many More Times. It's not the only closing song I have in my top 5, but yeah, I've always loved this song. Again, the bass riff in the beginning always hooks me in right away. Just John Paul Jones, a really great bass player. The guitar riff is just killer with, again, the heavy drums just come in. And to me, has one of my favorite Robert Plant vocal performances on it. Like especially his scream at the very end, which is just so cool. But yeah, it's a fantastic closing song to the debut, and so yeah, it's number 4.
Number 4 for me is Going to California, off of Led Zeppelin 4, which I would say I wouldn't go to California right now, but
probably not.
I wouldn't go to California during hurricane season.
At least not in Southern California. Like if you go to Northern California, you're fine.
Yeah. Just all those natural disasters that hit California, I wouldn't go at that time. But I'm sure it's like nice and sunny, and it's got some, it's nice weather most of the time. So.
Yep.
And everybody loves California. Led Zeppelin, Joni Mitchell, the Beach Boys, Mamas and Papas.
Tom Petty.
What's that?
Tom Petty as well.
Tom Petty. There must be something about California. Everybody sings about it. But anyways, like I said, I just love the acoustic guitar on here. I love the more laid back sound of it, I guess. And Robert's voice is so good. Robert Plant on here, and it's just an easygoing song that it's one that I keep going back to because of that. Like I said, I love the rock songs, but I love the more easygoing songs as well. Really hit it hard for me. Yeah, I love Going to California. One of my favorite. I think it's my second favorite off of Led Zeppelin 4, in fact.
Cool. Yeah. Well, my number 4 is Kashmir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Kashmir. I do think the song goes maybe a little bit too long, which is why it's not my number 3.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I love the tune though. It's one of my favorite tunes of any when your song really gets stuck in my head, and yeah, I just think the song's fantastic, and I used to think that this song opened the album, because I think it would be the perfect album opener.
It'd be a good opener. Yeah.
I think it opened the second side, didn't it? I can't remember.
I think it closes the second side, if I remember correctly.
It's still just a fantastic song. One that I wish I could see them do live.
Yeah.
It would be really awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, I've seen them on Saturday Night Live, and they have like a whole orchestra behind them doing the dun 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 dun. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah.
It's all amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so top 3.
Yeah, Kashmir came very close to my top 5, but just barely missed it. Probably number 6.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm gonna go Stairway to Heaven. Yep, gotta mention it's gotta be in the top 5 for me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everyone else, I'm pretty sure my 2 co-hosts are gonna talk more in depth on that one. So I'm gonna keep it brief.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it brief. But yeah, it's a classic, one of the greatest rock songs ever. And yeah, it's gotta be number 3.
Great pick. Number 3 for me is Fool in the Rain from Into the Outdoor. Yeah, one of my favorite on there. My favorite song on there, of course. And this is one that's a surprise. I wasn't expecting this to be that high on my list. But when I was going through the albums and I got to the song, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this song. Like, it's so catchy that, I don't know, guitar riff or whatever that goes throughout the whole song is so catchy. Like, I absolutely love it. It's maybe the best pop song, I think, Led Zeppelin. I don't know if you call it a pop song. I call it more of like a poppery. I don't know.
I'd say it's a pop song.
I call it pop. I don't know if that's the right word or not. You might say, I don't know. I've heard you say soft rock before. I don't know, soft rock.
Maybe soft rock, maybe. Somewhere on pop rock, soft rock, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's just, to me, like the catchiest, like kind of poppier type song that they've done. And it's just one that I just keep listening to over and over again after I listen to In Through That Door, because, yeah, it's just so fun to listen to. It just gives me so much joy just listening to that song. So that's number 3.
Yeah, what's also great about that song is like the drumming is actually really complex for a pop song. Like if you actually hear Bonham's isolated drums, it's like very like, especially with his kick drums, he's like doing these triples in there. And it's just like, wow. Yeah.
It's almost more, like technical or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right word, but so technically good. Yeah.
Like my third favorite Led Zeppelin song is "Immigrant Song."
Another great
one. I think I first heard it in Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Yeah,
that's a good place.
That probably was.
So good in that movie.
Yeah, it's a very short song. I almost think it could have been a little bit longer. But yeah, I love the lyrics in it. I love the vocals, of course. Probably the highlight of the song, but I love the guitar work as well. It's just a fantastic rocking song. It's one that I can listen to pretty much all the time. Really, I'm not bored with this one.
Yeah.
That's my number 3.
Yeah, awesome.
Top 2.
Top 2. So top 2, Jason already mentioned it, but it's gonna be Going to California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I love this song. It's my favorite acoustic song by them. It's just like Jason says, it's very laid back, it's very calming. It's just a song where I can play it and I can just relax. It's just such a nice soothing song. And of course, really love Plant's vocals on it. It's just so tender, it's so soft, but still kind of emotion. You hear a lot of the emotion on it still, and I love the acoustic playing. I can't remember if there's a mandolin on the track, but I know it's acoustic guitar is very heavy, prominent. But yeah, regardless, it just sounds so fantastic, and yeah, I love the song. It's number 2.
All right, number 2 is for me is the opener to Led Zeppelin 2, and that is "A Whole Lot of Love." Like I said, one of my favorite guitar riffs of all time, one of the greatest openers. It's just absolutely amazing rock song that just gets me going like no other one. And even with that middle part, I still love the song.
Yeah. It's my turn now.
Number 2 for you, yeah.
My number 2 is it's going to Bryer's house. Sorry, I'm going to California.
Well, don't come right now. That's what I'm saying.
Going to Bryer.
But yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite, I think,
Wow.
acoustic songs of all time. Really, yeah, it's one of my favorite songs about California. It might even be my favorite song about California. I think I like it more than Hotel California.
Oh yeah, there's another one, Hotel
Yeah,
California.
there
Yeah.
you go.
The Eagles talked about that.
Another one we didn't mention. But yeah, I absolutely love it. It's a very relaxing song, and yeah, it's Led Zeppelin doing acoustic music at their best, I think. Yeah, that's my number 2.
Yeah, it's cool. We had the same number 2 there.
I thought I was going to be the only one to put Going to California on there, and I had the lowest on the list. I was like, here's my hot take, Going to California. Never mind, everybody loves that song, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. Again, granted, I'm biased, so of course I put that one.
Oh, I know. You have to have it on there.
Yeah.
There's no Going to California song, or I'd have it on there too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, number 1 for me. And again, this was the hardest one to choose. What was going to be my favorite? At one point, Going to California was going to be number 1. Even Stairway was considered number 1. But for me, number 1, and it is going to be on Led Zeppelin 4. It's going to be When the Levee Breaks.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Again,
so you got 3 on that album.
Yeah, and no, surprising. But yeah, the drumming is really the big selling point. Like this, I already mentioned before, but the sound they got with Bonham on that track is just so amazing, just incredible. Like the second you hear that drum beats, then you're in for a great ride. Again, it's bluesy, and it's the best full-on blues, electrified blues song they've done. It just comes together so well. Let the harmonica in it. Again, it sounds totally like the harmonica definitely has something done to it, which sounds very different. It has a much more menacing sound to it, which you don't really hear much with the harmonica, but it just sounds incredible. And it's just a great closing song, and my favorite closing song with them. So it's my favorite Led Zeppelin song as of now, at least.
What's your favorite, Jason?
So your top 3 were from 4.
I know, it's ironic. Yeah, my favorite's Physical Graffiti. And
then you had 2 from Led Zeppelin 1. Wow, so
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, number 1, you know what it is.
It's the crunch.
It's a crunch. It's the crunch.
That was a good plot twist.
Hats off to Ward Hopper. Yeah.
Stairway, of course.
Stairway, no Stairway, denied. I told the story before, but I first heard about the song on the movie Wayne's World, which I have the steel book of it. If I can find it here. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I got this for my birthday, the steel book of Wayne's World. And it might even have it up there.
I've still not seen Wayne's World.
Such a classic comedy. But it's one of my favorite lines from the movie. And I don't know if it's on here or not, but anyways. But he starts playing the beginning part, I think, of Stairway to Heaven, the bum 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 bum, whatever. And the guy like shuts him down, like points to a sign that says no Stairway to Heaven, which I guess means you're not allowed to play that song in guitar stores.
Yeah.
It gets played too much. I don't know.
It's one of those songs that people always play when they get a new guitar in the guitar store. Same thing goes for like Smoke on the Water. That's another song.
Yeah, certain songs like they don't allow or something because they're just everybody likes to like those are songs you play to impress everybody probably. Like I did that too, like not in the record store, but like I learned that beginning part on guitar and I love playing it. It's so fun to play. But anyways, he starts playing it and then he's points to the sign, no Stairway to Heaven, and he says, no stairway, denied. And as a kid, I didn't understand that joke because I had no idea I didn't know there was a song called Stairway to Heaven. I just thought, there's no stairway. I was thinking like, I don't know how to say it, but I thought they were talking about like, literally there's no stairway to heaven. Like when you die, there's no stairway to heaven, which I thought, oh, okay, I guess it wouldn't be. I don't know why they're talking about a stairway to heaven. I didn't get the joke at all. And then my dad had to tell me like, there is a song called Stairway to Heaven. And it's a really good song. And I was like, oh. And then when I heard it for the first time, I was like, I remember I was listening to the radio, and all of a sudden that song came on the radio, that dun dun dun, dun that acoustic guitar part, and that beginning part was there's a lady, I'm sure, and he goes through that. And I'm,
though? You know what's ironic? The song's actually
what?
playing right behind me right now.
Yeah,
It's
with the double, with the double guitar,
yeah.
so good.
It's actually
I
towards the
might
end.
as well put this up then.
Yeah. There we go.
That's my number one as well, of course.
That's your number one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first time I heard it, of course, you're like, wow, this is a beautiful. I like that beginning part is so beautiful. I love the acoustic guitar on there. I love that like how he does that segue there, you know, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. And then it goes into this dun 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 dun, and it goes to like a little more strumming part. And then at the end, it's like the greatest rock song of all time. All of a sudden, you get that guitar solo and the dun 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 dun, and the da 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 bum 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 bum. You're like, oh my god, this is like, it's like the most beautiful song and the greatest rock song all at once. It's like Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like Bohemian Rhapsody is so beautiful at the beginning, and then it turns into this cool rock song. I love that. Like, I don't know how they do it. I'm like, it's just groundbreaking. But I remember I heard that on the radio, and I was like, this is the greatest song I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, I was right. Everybody said that was a great song, and I remember going, they were right. And after that, it's been one of my favorite songs of all time. Like, I've heard it a million times, and I just don't get tired of it.
Yeah,
I hate when people
I'm not tired of it either.
I don't like Stairway to Heaven. They play it too much. I'm like, I listen to it all the time, and I love it.
I love the flute in it as well.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
it's got everything you want in Led Zeppelin song. And it's got fantastic instrumentation. It feels like about 2 or 3 songs in one.
Yeah,
you know, I love when songs have multiple parts like that.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah, it just feels like you're on a journey, and the journey just is building until you get to the destination. So like that.
But yeah, I couldn't think of any number one.
And then they go back to the acoustic part at the end.
Yeah,
so good.
It all goes full circle.
Yeah, full circle. Yeah.
But do you guys have any honorable mentions?
I guess going quickly. Guess Carousel Alhambra, Fool in the Rain, and I'm just going by the albums, but that's that. Of course, Kashmir, of course, gotta mention that one. House of the Holy, the Rover, Custard Pie. Let's see, the Rain Song, the Ocean's great. I would put there. No Quarter, of course. See, then with the debut, Good Times, Bad Times, Days Confused, Communication Breakdown, and then just a few more. Ramble On, of course, Living, Loving Maid, Heartbreaker, and I'll throw in Whole Lot of Love. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not throw it on?
Why not?
One of the most well-known songs.
It's only one of the greatest ones.
Throw it in there.
Why not?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Like I said, Ramble On, love that song. Definitely was one of my top. Over the Hills and Far Away, Jamaica, whatever.
Jamaica,
Yeah.
All My Love, so beautiful. Immigrant Song, yeah, definitely. It's in everybody's list. It's got to be on your list of. That's the Way. I love that song so much. One of the greatest acoustic songs I've heard. Kashmir, so amazing. The Ocean, yeah, great rock song. Rock and Roll, I think someone, Living, Loving Maid. I mean, yeah, so many great songs. And go on and on.
Well, I'll go through mine then. So, my 11th favorite Led Zeppelin song is Tangerine.
Yeah.
My number 10 is Good Times, Bad Times. 9 is Thank You.
Thank you.
My number 8 is Whole Lot of Love. And my number 7 is Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. And 6 is Down by the Seaside.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So there we go. I enjoyed our Led Zeppelin discussion there, guys.
Same. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And I'm also doing a Wild West themed contest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's currently my latest video I've done. And what are you guys' next videos on your channels? I'll let you go first, Jason.
Okay. Yeah, I know I need to. It's funny because I was on this trip. I took a really break from like all these things I was doing, and now I got to get back to doing all the Beatles songs, ranking all the Beatles. I've got 24 songs left on that list, so I really want to hit that hard and try to get through the 24 probably fairly quickly now, and try to get done with that list is what I really want to do probably next week. Besides, I did a deep dive on
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan. Thanks, I forgot. I did a deep dive on Steely Dan, and I'm going to be doing a top 10 favorite Steely Dan songs this next week to follow that up. And I just watched Bryer and Garrett and Nick do their top 10.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah,
we did. I watched that this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon when I first woke up, because I remember you guys did one, and so I was like, oh, I need to watch that before I do my list. Anyway,
I don't even remember what I put.
What did you put?
I think I had Deacon Blues as number 1.
Yeah, that was number 1, Deacon Blues.
Yeah, I can't remember the rest though.
Yeah, there's so many, but
no,
yeah. So yeah, I definitely got to do the Steely Dan top 10 to finish out that deep dive.
What about you, Bryer?
Well, I'm probably when we're done with this, I'm planning on recording 3 videos because I start school tomorrow. So
okay.
I know a day after a hurricane, I go back to school, so that's fun. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. They didn't cancel school yet, so yeah. But yeah, so I'm 3 videos I'm gonna record. One is your contest entry, Adam. I'm gonna do.
Thank you.
Yeah, that one's not gonna take too long. It's a short one. I still got to continue my 70s series. My top 5 albums for 1974. That's one I got to hit. And I also got to conclude my CD collection series because I have one more episode to go. You can kind of see, some of them are there. I just need to record the video. So those are probably the big 3 coming up.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to put up a live stream next Saturday doing a trivia with, and I invited Adam Bryer on there.
Yeah.
And I invited Norrin as well. So,
Cool.
So hopefully I do that. Planning on doing that this next Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I've got a couple of YouTube shorts planned. I've got one reviewing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, and one reviewing Blue Beetle as well.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to mention, I've got Led Zeppelin. I call it Led Zeppelin song statistics. So they've got 73 songs in total. I rate zero of them bad. I think 0 of them are okay. I think 7 of them are good. 14 are great. 21 are amazing, and 31 are perfect. So I don't think they've got any bad or okay songs. Yeah. I think they're all good to perfect. Yeah.
Wow, good. Even
in case you guys want to know that information. Yeah, even I think the Crunch is good, but yeah, I'm still not too crazy on it though.
Yeah.
Oh, hats off to Roy Harper.
Yeah, I'd say I think it's good, but I'm not too crazy on it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys joining me for this live stream. I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate it if you leave this live stream a like and subscribe to both Bryer and Jason. Hope the weather will be alright for you soon, Bryer.
Yep, hopefully. Cross my fingers.
Yep. I guess until next time, everyone. Ciao. Peace.